Hi, this is Matt Hato for Gestalt IT. We're here today with Nirav from Fortinet to talk about SD-WAN, SD-Branch, SASE, and Zero Trust Edge. So a lot of acronyms there, but first, Nirav, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your role at Fortinet?
Yeah, thank you, Matt, and thanks for having me here. Hello, everyone. I'm Nirav Shah, Vice President for our Products and Solution at Fortinet. Been with Fortinet for 7 years, and my team is passionate about bringing the networking and security products and solution together to talk about many products and offering that Matt you just touched upon.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for the intro. So I mentioned quite a few acronyms: SD-WAN, SD-Branch, SASE, ZTNA. Buzzwords and acronyms aside, the way I see it, our goal is to securely connect users to applications. So we have office users, remote users, IoT devices, and we need to connect these to applications, right? So the apps could be on-prem, public cloud, SaaS, PaaS, IaaS, more acronyms here. We need to secure all of this. So, kind of cutting through these acronyms, how does Fortinet address the rapid expansion of IT beyond the traditional network edge?
Yeah, that's a great question because the way you described everything, one thing is evident there. The attack surface is expanding, right? More distributed users, distributed applications, and this is an area we are seeing because of that. The data breaches are increasing. We are seeing the cyber attacks are at all-time high, including the ransomware. So the Fortinet solution, our mission is to make sure we are providing the real-time prevention and detection for that known and unknown threats. But while we are doing that, we also want to make sure that we are converging the modern networking technologies with security to provide a better user experience, right? And that's really Matt where the key goal for Fortinet is how are we enabling that convergence of networking and security available across all edges, whether it's a branch, campus, data center, or cloud. But then we are not limiting ourselves to the modern networking technology. We strongly believe in innovation. So we build many of these technologies, whether it's SD-WAN, 5G, ZTNA, organically, and then have security built in to provide that promise of convergence consistently available. And all of this really mean to customer as enabling securing digital acceleration, right? Because that's what is going to help them improving the business agility and productivity for users.
Okay, great. So I appreciate the overview. What does it actually look like? If we just take an example of an on premises use case, how does Fortinet apply security within the office or across the WAN within that traditional kind of network boundary?
Yeah, so look, it's been 20 plus years for Fortinet to continue to innovate on this offering, what we call FortiGate, widely deployed. And that FortiGate, the first and the foundation step for many customers is to deploy on any edge, whether it's a branch or a campus or even a branch of one, where it gives you the next generation firewall and SD-WAN. And having that next generation firewall and SD-WAN, they're enabling an outbound security as well as segmentation. It is powered by this 40 guard labs, which is our threat intelligence, to make sure that real-time prevention is enabled. But that's step number one, Matt. From there, many of our customers move to LAN edge, which is where Fortinet builds the 40 access point and 40 switch. And it's not just a point product. There is a deep integration of those products with FortiGate via a proprietary protocol called FortiLink. So what that means is the security that you have enabled for the WAN is now extended all the way to the LAN and wireless LAN. And a third important element is we also have something called FortiNAC. So now, even beyond Fortinet, if you have the other vendor's product or IoT devices, we are providing the visibility and control into this. So now you can see the zero trust strategy is part of it because Fortinet is the only vendor out there who has the ZTNA enforcement with that FortiGate secure SD-WAN. And the FortiNAC enables further zero trust strategy. But what is most important is while I talked about almost four different products which are all integrated together, it is mapped. and controlled by a single pane of glass policy management called Forti Manager. So zero touch provisioning and enabling them in any edge is very simple and quick at a very high scale.
That's great. So just to make sure I understand, if I have a branch office, for example, and I want to apply policy, I don't need to touch my FortiGate and my FortiSwitch and my FortiAP. The FortiManager is my central point of policy configuration, and that's going to push my security policy to the enforcement devices. Do I have that right?
Exactly, Matt. So, and that is the very important point of the convergence. Not only we are building that security and networking convergence in all the platform, even for the management perspective, you can now configure all next generation firewall policy, SD-WAN and SD branch policy, as well as the ZTNA policy. All of that from a single controller, and then you're expanding at the scale because we can scale up to 10,000 plus devices and continue to provide that zero touch provisioning and analytics.
So that's great. Now, building on this example, we talked about the expansion of the network edge. We don't have a traditional perimeter as we have for many years. So if we start to look at remote users, once we move outside of that network perimeter, how does Fortinet address that security policy?
That goes back to that unified offering that I talked about that we have been investing for last many years. Fortinet's objective is that unified offering, which is available in the 40 OS, runs on 40 gate, has all the component, all the acronym that you talked about, right? SD-WAN, NG firewall, services, ZTNA. Matt, what we are doing is now we have been building our own cloud delivered scalable network with a product called 40 SASE. So for remote users who can be working from anywhere, they can now, instead of going from an office via VPN, they can now directly go to one of our nearest global cloud network where it has the same 40 OS, it has the same 40 guard security services, and we can provide a full threat protection. What they need is a simple, lightweight 40 client as an agent that could be on any of the device, it could be of any of the smartphone, or it could be agentless, but they can connect to our network where we can provide them a secure internet access. So before going to any SaaS application, we can enable all of the security functionality from an IPS, web filtering, SSL inspection, and more, and make sure that security effectiveness is high. But while we are doing that, we also enable the secure private access because we realize many of the workers, while working remotely, they have applications in data center. So now the ZTNA enforcement is also available there to make sure they're accessing the right application. But as you can see, even though the 40 SASE is a separate offering and it has a very intuitive cloud delivered management, the way we have developed is if you have already have that secure SD-WAN and NG firewall on branch and data center, you can easily augment and onboard the remote user to make the remote users and edges work together. And that's really important because it goes back to that consistent of networking and security convergence available everywhere. But that one point really differentiate us is that enforcement of ZTNA is available at branch, is now available for remote users in 40 SASE. So it's universally available. You can provide that and give them an explicit access to application. I hope that was clear on how we are securing the remote user, not as a separate solution, but bringing it back to our original main, the 40 gate and the on-prem deployment.
Yeah, it's perfect. So no matter where the user or the application lives, I'm going to be able to consistently apply security policy from the user to the app, right? That's essentially what we're doing with Fortinet, and I don't need any integrations to third-party solutions. That's all within your product set.
Exactly. I mean, this is ultimately it's the same unified offering available. So customers who have seen it with the 40 gate, the 40 SASE is very easy to deploy. Now we do strongly believe in continue to build our ecosystem. We do integrate with almost 350 plus other vendors as part of the Fortinet Security Fabric Partners ecosystem. So Matt, we will continue that because we realize that as you are enabling the Fortinet technology, if you have invested into other vendor, then having that threat intelligence sharing with the other vendors and making it easy to onboard all the architecture is key.
So, Narav, thanks so much for joining me today. In summary, it sounds like the network is still a very important layer in an organization's security strategy. Would you say that's accurate?
It is, yes, with all the strategy and architecture discussion going on, if there is one thing customers should take away is network is the most important part, right? Whether the users are on edge, they're working remotely, applications are in cloud, everything is connected via this networking capabilities, and of course, security is built in. And we are really happy that Fortinet's innovation of keeping that consistent convergence available in any form factor will help them to go that journey. So thank you again for your time.
Thank you. I really enjoyed cutting through the architecture and getting to better understand Fortinet security solutions. And as always, be sure to follow the Gestalt IT blog to stay up to date with Fortinet and other IT vendors. And Narav, thank you very much for your time today.